welcome everyone as we gather around the table again for our April KML Foundation Table Talk vlog. I'm Paul Stamiska, your estate plan counselor, and I'm excited to be with you again this month. You know, over the last few episodes, we've been talking about different ways that we can help you plan your future. Today, we're going to talk about something a little bit different because when we talk about the planning of your future, sometimes that includes a charitable gift and maybe to the KML Foundation. But when you give a gift to the foundation, what does that really mean? Well, today I've got a special guest who's going to talk a little bit about that and explain some of those things that your gifts to the KML Foundation actually do and where they go. My guest today is Mr. David Bartelt. Now, Mr. Bartelt is our KML superintendent, but on top of that, he's also our vice chairman of the KML Foundation. And so he truly understands the unique relationship between the two and probably gives us a lot of valuable insights on how this all works. So welcome, Mr. Bartelt.
Thank you, Paul, and thanks for letting me be part of Table Talks.
Fantastic. My first question is, just tell us a little bit about the background, the history of the KML Foundation.
So, our current KML Foundation started out as a simple endowment fund. And there was a group of elected volunteers who love KML, and they would quarterly gather together to make investment decisions. They would accept the money from gifts and invest it and take care of that to help those investments grow. About 15 years ago, that endowment fund shifted into a full-fledged foundation. It has its own 501c3 identification, has its own board of directors that is elected and approved, and they still have the same purpose in mind, to accept gifts from people and to invest them and then to distribute those gifts to help other people.
So the main purpose of the foundation, maybe this is an oversimplification, is the main purpose of the KML Foundation to support Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School?
So by constitution, the main purpose is to provide student assistance to families who want an exceptional Christian education but just simply can't afford it. The main purpose still is that. However, today the foundation has grown and they manage funds and they now provide tuition assistance or scholarships to some of our students who go on to MLC or to technical colleges or to even other places. So that main purpose now has expanded.
Wow, so the foundation really does quite a few things rather than just invest some money.
Without a doubt.
When we talk about investing money, does the foundation just receive cash gifts or are there different kind of gifts that the foundation can take?
There's certainly different kinds. In fact, you can almost categorize them into three different kinds. So the foundation does accept direct gifts. In fact, they just released their very first appeal specifically to the foundation where they asked people to consider a direct gift. Those direct gifts get put into the foundation assets and they still manage them to grow. The second kind of gift that they definitely accept would be deferred gifts. I believe that one of your table talks talked about using insurance as a vehicle for deferred gifts, but many of our supporters of this ministry would maybe put the foundation into their estate plan. That would be another example of a deferred gift. The third type of gift is really probably exemplifies the greatest transition of our modern day KML Foundation, and that is our donor named funds or our family named funds, where we see this wonderful trend now where a donor or a family would gather together and they would create their own named fund, which then gets managed directly by our KML Foundation. They have a specific purpose, a specific mission, and it's our KML Foundation then that manages or has oversight over that.
You know, I'm glad you mentioned that because a lot of our viewers probably aren't aware that when we talked about that appeal that went out, there was a family that decided to do just that. They had given a special gift to create their own named endowed fund. And in this case, they would like that gift to be used to support students from Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School going on to MLC to study for the public ministry. So that was just one example of how that can work. So thanks for bringing that up. Now, when people get the idea of giving a gift to the KML Foundation and the KML Foundation receives those gifts, What do they do with them? You talked about an endowment, that makes it sound like they invest them?
The KML Foundation Board of Directors has created this wonderful relationship with the Wells Foundation. So we take the assets, we accept those gifts from our KML people, and then we use the Wells Foundation to actually manage those assets for us. Our investment strategies align perfectly. Our mission is in sync with each other, and they basically carry out the wishes and the hopes of all of those donors who give to the KML Foundation.
So let me just talk through the steps and make sure I get this right, that people will give us their gifts, and it can be a variety of different ways that they can give. We will invest that with the help of the Wells Foundation. When do we distribute the money then?
So our KML Foundation Board of Directors makes one annual distribution, and it usually happens at the quarterly meeting in January. They take a 12-month average of assets, and then they distribute 5% of the growth of those assets at that time. And the exciting news was this year, this January of 2021, was a banner year. It was so exciting to be part of that meeting because they were able to distribute $90,000 this year. Last year in 2020, we thought it was a record year at $55,000, but this year was $90,000. And by the grace of God, the assets and the gifts are growing, which allows the foundation board to give away more money.
You know, it's interesting because, as you said, that the number is fantastic this past year. I can tell you that it was just 3 years ago that the assets in the foundation exceeded $1 million. What's the current value now of the foundation assets?
So today, the foundation is managing assets that are more than $2.3 million.
Wow. And just within 3 years, it has grown to that point.
Yeah.
And then obviously that means the distribution goes up dramatically.
That's correct.
And what does that mean in real lives for families?
Well, more families are being assisted, more kids get help going to colleges, and it just is exciting because the larger the assets, as you said, the more assets that are given to the foundation and managed, the more people get blessed by those distributions.
I just want to go back to something you had said before. Just for clarification, we're talking about Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School, and we're talking about the KML Foundation. What exactly is the difference and the connection between the two?
So even after all these years, many of our people still can't differentiate the difference, but there is a definite difference between these two organizations. KML receives gifts from people. Our ministry is supported, whether it's for operating or capital expansion, and those gifts are used right away. But the same people might want to give to the KML Foundation, which is separate, and there's a firewall between the two. Those gifts at the foundation then are put into the assets, they grow, they expand, and those gifts will be distributed year after year and generation after generation. So the high school uses the money for immediate ministry. The foundation will be there to support that high school ministry for generations to come.
We've talked a lot about the past and maybe the current situation. Let's dream a little bit. What's the future of the KML Foundation?
So we're so thankful that the foundation assets have grown to 2.3 million plus. But imagine what we can do when it hits 5 million and 7 million and 10 million. KML is a growing ministry, and more families come to us every year. And as our enrollment grows, the foundation will grow, and they will just work in parallel to each other, and we'll be able to have a greater impact with more people.
That's fantastic. It sounds like a great way for people not only to support Kettle Moraine Lutheran High School and our current students, but students long into the future through an endowment fund that's going to last in perpetuity.
Yep, it's exciting. Just exciting to be part of it and to know the history, but also pray to God for the blessings on our future.
Once again, thanks for tuning in to our KML Foundation vlog. It's been exciting to learn a little bit more about the KML Foundation. We thank Mr. Bartelt for being our guest today and learning one more way that you can make an impact with your charitable gift. Remember, we give you these options because it is your life, it's your plan, it's your legacy. We'll see you next month.